Good morning, guys. Happy Saturday weekend. Yay. So now we get to do all the fun stuff. So not just in the evenings. Now we get all day to go do what we need to do. So I wanted to bring up something here that maybe you all saw. I mean, obviously we're all part of it because you're kind of seeing what's going on. But I think right now, my opinion, is that alternate forms of communication really need to start being sought out by all of us, okay? Because we saw the story, talked about it a couple of days ago about your instant messages, SMS messages, being screened by the government to see if, you're, oh my God, putting out medical misinformation. Yeah, okay, So now what's coming out today, and this was kind of interesting because not only did, good old Potato Joe say it, but then, the airhead in chief there, Jen Psaki, said it too, about the White House now colluding with Facebook to censor misinformation, okay, which was real interesting. They now want Facebook to shut down any comments that are made, some of the stuff that I got put in jail for. If you say that, Facebook is now going to be responsible for removing all of that. Now, the funny part was that my question is, for the longest time, Facebook says, and for that matter, YouTube and Twitter and, pick a leftist social media platform. Okay. I mean, I'm sorry, guys, that's the truth. They're leftist. Okay. But for the longest time, they're like, we're not a government entity. We're a private business, yada, yada, yada. So therefore, this doesn't apply to us, et cetera. True. Okay. You are a private business. You're not a government entity. So I get it. But now you have the government trying to, or basically ordering, for all intents and purposes, private business in what they have to do. Well, we know they already do it with the mainstream media, okay? Because unless the mainstream media is completely, most of them all are, moronic liberals anyway. But damn well they get their marching orders from the Democratic National Convention, or committee, I'm sorry. And, this is what you will talk about. Otherwise, we will do whatever it is to shut you down. Well, that's pretty much now where it's going to come with the social media. So, you're going to do what we tell you, or we're going to deplatform you, for all intents and purposes. So, imagine all of a sudden the government says, hey, Zuckerberg, you know what? You no longer have the rights to do business in the United States. Poof, Facebook is gone. That's literally what they're trying to do. So Facebook's between a rock and a hard place here. They've got to do what the government wants. And of course, what the government wants is totalitarianism, okay? They want, free speech as long as it meets the narrative that they put out, okay? Dissenting opinions are not allowed. So, this is where it gets further interesting. And I know people say, y'all know I've got the backup channel on Rumble. People will talk about Telegram or BitChute or anything like this. Okay. I forget, what was it? Parler last year. What happened to them? Somebody went, oh, we don't like what you're saying. Off. And that was it. Shut them down. Okay. Throw one switch and they're done. So that's literally what's coming. And so I'm saying, we got to look at alternative means of communications, which gets very difficult because, how do you get, if it isn't for the internet, I don't know. I have zero chance of meeting 99.9% of you guys. All right. And we never talk whatsoever. there's some people in my local area that follow the channel and things like that. Maybe I'm across paths with them. That's a possibility. But, you're in California or you're in Maine. The chances of me ever seeing you are slim to none. So, figuring out what the alternative is. Now, the funny part is where it gets real interesting. And like I said, this is straight out of, Stalinist Russia, Nazi Germany or whatever. The only thing you're allowed to say is what toes the party line. Okay. I mean, that is 100% a communistic ideal. All right. So this is what gets really funny because, obviously Potato Joe is the one running the country right now. And the policies that he's putting in are 100% communistic, all right, to the point where Ilhan Omar was out yesterday, everybody's favorite, douchebag from Minnesota. She was out in Europe speaking to the Communist Party of Europe and telling them how proud she was and how happy she was that the Biden administration is putting in all the communist ideals that her and the squad and the far, far, far left have, and they don't have to do anything. She's so proud of Joe because he's just doing it because it's the right thing to do. And I love when everybody says, but she's not a communist. Hell yeah, she's a communist. Okay, her daughter is one of the leaders, I guess, if you will, in the American Communist Party. I mean, if you don't think that Omar is a full-blown, red as red gets, better dead than red, communist, you're wrong, okay? So here, yesterday, after Omar says, oh, Joe is doing such a great job supporting communism, Joe comes out today and quotes, communism is a failed system, a universally failed system, and I don't see socialism as a very useful substitute, but that's another story, okay? Bernie Sanders might have something to say about that, okay? Because Joe, Bernie's been real quiet lately. Why? Because you're doing everything he wants to do. UBI, putting everybody on welfare, the Gestapo running around, spying on emails, spying on texts, censoring people, door to door, lying to people, all that sort of stuff. This is what's going on, So, it gets to a point where we know what they're doing. And this is what I said. So we've got to come up with some alternate means of communication. But again, it can't be technology related. It's somehow going to have to be verbal. And I mean, this is where ham radio may come into play. Whether that's what winds up going on, if fireside chats over ham radio, I don't know. Okay, this is something still need to figure out. But they've got a plan in motion, and if you look at it, this is exactly how Hitler started everything. Make the people hate each other, take away all the rights to free speech, anything of the sort. Now, where the only curveball is the whole defund the police. So the only thing I can think of with the defund the police part is that they want a military, basically making a military coup, okay? So now you get to the point, can you imagine, remember Fidel Castro always, walking around in his uniform with all his medals. Can you see Joe in a military uniform, box hat on, everything like that, a chest full of medals? It's like, with a, finishing your potatoes, your mashed potatoes award, putting your shoes on award, not drooling at the dinner table. I mean, that's literally what Joe would have. So, but then again, the reason I say the defunding the police and all this, anybody catch Cori Bush? One of these other morons, one of the new members of the squad. She's one of the biggest proponents of defund the police. She spent $70,000 last month for private security for herself and her staff. So just so you guys have this one figured out, it's perfectly acceptable for her to spend your money to protect herself, but you can't spend your money, i.e. taxes, to protect yourself. That's kind of where we got going. So, last part. as we talked about in the live stream on Tuesday night, y'all said number one. I will link this below. There is another video today. It's going to be a different one. But I've got an idea that I wanted to just discuss with you guys real quick and see what you think. But I can't put it here, so it'll be over yonder. So we'll let y'all take a look over there. Other than that, have a great Saturday. Pinball out.